rise to the top, can't stop this flow. In the heart of the jungle, we're ready, let's go. In the heart of the jungle, we're ready, let's go.
Welcome everybody to another episode here with Ben. No guest today though.
No
just
guest
us
today. Just the two of us.
Yeah.
OG style.
Yeah.
You know
Sometimes
what?
it happens.
Shout out to all the guests, man.
Oh yeah, it's been
Dude.
awesome.
It's been, and there's so much more coming, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been fun, man. That video you sent me of the one at the coffee shop,
Oh man.
bro.
Reminds me of the
What a freaking. I mean, we're still a long ways out, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been a hell of I'd say a year now, right?
little over, I
Over
think.
a year, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird scrolling through and I saw that and I was like, "Ooh, hold up. I forgot I had that on my phone."
I forgot we recorded it on our phones.
Yeah, because that was recorded on my iPhone with little
The little mics.
and you could hear my beard hitting it. My beard looked terrible too. I'm like, holy shit.
That was before you were doing your grooming, right?
Yeah.
Like at least consistently. I know. I
Yeah.
think now you do it a lot more consistently, but
Yeah, I need to get back in though. It's been a minute, but
yeah, man, that video was crazy, bro. It was it's eye opening. It's crazy to see. I think we've talked about it in the very beginning. We'll look back on some of it, like, damn, bro, like. But
yeah, some of those first ones, I'm like,
they're tough to watch, but it's
good.
also it's a reminder to see
Yeah.
where we were. We still have a lot of growth to do, but where we were as far as like just being able to chat.
There's
right?
days we're gonna look back on these.
Yeah, I'd be like, holy, we thought
Yeah.
we were, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're like, oh. But the point that I think is important that we know that we're gonna continue growing. It doesn't matter. There's not gonna be a point that we're like, this is the best we've.
No, for
I mean,
sure.
it'll be the best we've put out at that time.
Right.
But then the next year is going to be the new best, or the next one's going to be the new best. It's just a constant growth thing,
100% agree.
which is huge.
John, when I listened to John C. Maxwell at one of his seminars he did, he said that he's like, my best version of me is today is right now, but you won't get the same information or the same John that you're getting today, tomorrow or next year or the next month, and if you are, then I'm not growing.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh damn, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna, you shouldn't. We should always be striving for the next step of being better. Better be whatever in the way we talk, the things we talk about, the way we record, all this type of stuff. So
it's like I had a moment yesterday. I mean, this last like 2 weeks has been crazy, like in a really good way at work. Like just things happening, but instead of being like all mad at somebody else, I'm like, man, there's nobody to blame but me. And like going out and just being like, it's me. Like I sat down with the owner and you know, I left work and was like, man, if I don't go deal with this now, I'm gonna be annoyed at myself. Circled the block and he's like, what are you doing back? And we just had a really good conversation and I was like, look, I just want to apologize. Like I want to make sure you're not mad. Like I know it sucks. Like I realize I screwed up. And like at the end of the conversation, he's like, it means a lot that you came back and like apologize. Like I'm not mad. Like we all make mistakes. We're human. You're learning. It's great. We're moving on. I can see you. I can see your growth. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I was like, but I just wanted to make sure that I was upfront. I was honest with you. Like, I know where I messed up and I know the changes that I need to make. And then we had another like little incident and it was stuff that I'd drawn a while back, but it was finally in and talking to the shop manager. And I'm like, look, if I fuck up, like you tell me, like, because I want to fix it. I don't want it to continue to happen. And he said the same thing. He's like, if you fuck up and you're not learning, that's a problem.
yeah,
It's like when you fuck up and you learn, that's when I know you're growing.
right.
And I've been trying to have these more conversations like, hey, what can I do to help you? Like, what can I do to be better for you guys?
Where do you think that particular, because that's a mindset you have to have, right?
Oh,
that's an attitude. That's a
Accountability 100%.
okay.
100%. Because I could look and I stopped and I thought about this too. And I'm like, man, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I might have just been pissed off. It's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's fault. Like I did everything that I was told. But at the end of the day, it's like, I might have done that. But if I'd have asked maybe one more question, 2 more questions, or asked a question, it would be a different story. But me being accountable, being like, okay, I see where I messed up. Now what can I do to grow from this? Like I've got lists hanging up like, okay, this is a detail that we talked about. okay, I need to make sure that this is on like this.
Yeah.
And like we had a little conversation yesterday again, just we want to grow, we want to make it faster, smoother. And I'm like, okay, I was going to sit down sometime this weekend and write out a little list of like, okay, these are thoughts that I have, like, and present it, be like, hey, these are things that I could think that might help us. What do you think? Mm-hmm. And do it on my time, because it's my responsibility to grow myself.
Right.
So that's something I'm going to do later today or tomorrow. Kind of sit down and just be like, okay, this is a few steps that I think will help us so that we can move to the next step and grow and grow and grow.
Mm-hmm. Do you think taking that accountability, because I feel like I can only speak for myself. Sometimes a big part of my journey with growing with accountability was you have to learn. It's not necessarily you take it personal. Like when you own up to something, it's almost like a relief. Like you're wanting to understand. You're open to feedback and to know, hey, I'm not perfect. I made a mistake, and you learn from that mistake, and you hope that you don't ever make it again. But like you said, we're human, right? We're constantly growing. Do you think that? Well, I know the answer to this, so I'm going to set you up. Can somebody learn accountability?
Oh, yeah. 100%. I mean, that's the biggest tool I think I've learned of everything. It's been the biggest growth, because if something is not happening, there's only one person to blame. I mean, ultimately, there's only one person to blame.
Where do you feel like that came from, though? Because, like, can you, and maybe there isn't like a point, like a pinpoint part where you're like, I remember this is kind of where, or has it just been these like slow mindset shifts through when situations come up? You're like, I need to take accountability for this.
More than anything, it was Jocko's book,
Really?
Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
After I read that, like, the
It
things
really,
started
like,
clicking.
clicked.
Like,
Yeah.
from the Limitless event, which, I mean, that first one we went to was fantastic. You know, the speakers were awesome, and we've talked multiple times that Grover speech was, like, super impactful. Like, that kind of started it. And then, after listening to Extreme Ownership, I'm like, damn. Like, the part in it where, and I'm almost 100% it was Jocko that was talking to his team. Like, they had an incident, and he had to, top came down, and he had to write a report and everything. And he's sitting there trying to figure it out, going through everything. And it dawned on him, like, oh, this was on me. And he asked his team, like, whose fault was it? And they kind of sat there, and each one's like, oh, I messed up here. And he's like, nope, I messed up here. Nope. At the end of the day, he came down. He's like, it was my fault. I didn't lead correctly. And that, to me, I was like, well, shit. He's 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, what I'm doing could affect multiple people. And it has. And that's good and bad. Because the accountability can affect in a good way. Kind of like Steph said, if that was on here last.
Yeah.
A guy taking accountability or somebody taking accountability has a lot more respect than somebody that just throws it off to the side. Mm-hmm. And I think that's gotten me a long way with not only my family, but, in my job. And as I've progressed, like, hey, I can own up to what I did. Like, oh, I didn't, that didn't even dawn on me. Like, certain things. I'm like, I'm going to set myself a checklist, do this, set myself up so that I don't have to worry about some of this stuff anymore. Because now it's like, okay, I have this routine. I have to do all this when I go do this. Go out and measure a job. I need to do this stuff. Maybe not all of that checklist is going to be on that job, but that checklist is there. The routine is now built. I'm working on the routine and the discipline.
Right.
To go through these steps. Okay, do I have this, and this? Because if I can do my job better, that's going to make the next guy's job better. The next guy, it's going to make the company more money. It could in turn make me more money. It's all.
Yeah, it's a gear, right? It all turns together.
Yep.
It all is a unison. And I think too, one of the things that I remember, and accountability is something that you work on consistently. It's not like you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm accountable. And especially when it comes to owning up to mistakes. That's one of the hardest, even for me to this day, when there was always this thought of like, hey, if I own up, I would, in the back subconscious, I would think, well, like, am I owning up to a mistake and I'm essentially telling them that I'm not good enough to do this. That was a big thought in my head, but it's not correlated to the accountability part. That's something else I had to deal with. I had to deal with knowing that I am good enough to do what I'm doing.
And we talked about that a little bit not that long ago, that it could have a double-sided coin, but I think if the person you're holding yourself accountable to can tell that you're growing, it's a good thing. But if they can't, I could see them seeing as this guy's not good enough for what we want.
Right.
Which in turn, hey, take it however you want. But as somebody that, in my opinion personally, that if a company or a person wants to grow and they are growing in their own ways, that they'll understand that, okay, he can see where he messed up.
Yeah.
And the next step is the crucial one. Where is he making the changes?
Right.
What is he doing to make the changes? I mean, for instance, like, to go back to what you were talking about, like, I walked out, we talked about it, and at first I was pissed. I was not in a good mood. I was like, this sucks. But then after I sat for a second, I was like, wait a minute. Who did it? Whose fault was anything that's going on? It's mine. There's nobody else to blame here but me. Like, everybody can be mad, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's my fault.
Right.
Like, and I need to own up to that. And that's what led to the whole conversation. And I mean, so far he's been a fantastic guy. Like,
yeah.
And when I talk to him, he's like, I hope you don't take anything negatively. And some of the times, like, a quick thought, but then I'm like, oh, wait. And after we had the conversation, I'm like, it made way more sense to me.
Yeah.
Everything made so much more sense. And I'm like, I'm glad I took the 30 minutes to do that. Like, yeah, I didn't get home to my kids, but I made sure that I was in a good place and that he felt good with what was going on too. So.
Well, not only that, man, and you would know this because I know this too, with whenever we tend not to try to bring things home.
Yeah.
But no matter what, if you don't deal with it, you're bringing it home.
Yeah,
and that's what would have happened, right?
100%. And I thought about that when I left, and I mean, I circled the block, and I'm like, I had that exact thought in my head. I was like, if I don't go deal with this, I'm going to have a shitty night.
Yep.
Because my mind's going to be back here this whole time, like thinking. And rather than wait, like, why not just go nip it in the butt? Like, because for say he was mad, like, okay, now we have time to talk. We took the time to talk about it.
Right.
We could hammer it out. We could come up with a solution rather than wait. Because at the same point, I'm like, I don't want to ruin his night. Like, what if he was mad about something? Like,
right.
And that goes for anybody. Like, if they're mad, like I don't want you to ruin your night because of me. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not fair to you. It's not fair to your family. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to my family. And when I left happier, went home, the night was 10 times better than it could have been. And I knew it. Yeah. When I left, I was like, whew, I felt better. And at least from what I could tell, he felt better.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed fine to begin with, but at the end of the day, it was a really good thing for me to do. That accountability was just huge. This was nowhere near what we were going to talk about.
No, I mean, but it's real, right?
Yeah.
It's what's happening now, which is what we've always tried to base things off of. But I want to hit on something. So as far as, because I've been trying to work through, it's just the thought of accountability or circling the block and having the conversation because you were upset. Mm-hmm. And then you didn't know if he was upset. That's an emotion tied to it too. And I'm working through those emotions.
It's a bitch.
And yeah, but I've come to learn that you actually have to feel those emotions. And it's okay to be those emotions. Now, the actions that come after that, that's different, but it's okay to be upset. And I have such a hard time with others' emotions. And I try to I always say, it's going to be all right. And I'm stuck it to my wife, if she's upset or it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. But
they're the hardest.
I don't know if I don't know if it's going to be okay.
Right.
But that is me coping with my own issues of ability to be able to handle emotion, but like you just explained, and I've come to learn as of, honestly the last couple of weeks, is that the emotion part is you working through the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So being angry is part of that process. If you cut that process out, now, like I said, don't misconstrue what I'm not saying for the people that aren't hearing this, is that it's not the action that is involved. If you're going to be angry, if you punch somebody, if you break, whatever, if you do something violently, the action that comes with it, that's not acceptable. But if you're just upset and that's okay, because you're dealing with it. And then, like you said, you talked it through, and that emotion went through your body.
Yeah.
It was like it happened. You're upset. You talked it through, and you worked it out. I'm fairly confident. I'm sure you didn't think much about it the rest of the night, if very little.
No,
right?
I mean, I told my wife about the conversation, what had happened, the conversation, and she's like, well, I'm glad you went back. Because she's like, I can tell just the way you're talking that it made you feel better.
Yeah.
And kind of to circle back a little bit, and we talked with Steph, and there was a little, and I had thought about it a little bit after, like, I was kind of angry when I went in there, not necessarily like when I hurt my back.
Oh, okay.
My mind was irritated.
How about the workout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in general, like I was irritated. Shit came up, and I was annoyed.
Yeah.
But at the same point, I was doing what she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to a degree, I am trying to compensate for what I was told when I was younger.
Right.
Like, okay, I can do this. Like, and that's been in my head so much since she said it, which is a good thing, because I'm like, and I think it's made my lifts better. So, Steph, shout out to you. I really appreciate that.
Awesome episode.
Yeah. But there's two parts to that, because at the back of my mind, when I'm lifting heavy, that's always there, like thinking of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm getting ready to lift heavy, and I'm sure you've done it too, everybody, you start thinking of all the shit that people have said, right?
Cookie jar. Yeah.
But I was annoyed, but at the end of the day, it was like what Steph was saying.
Yeah.
That's why I keep trying to lift heavier and heavier and heavier to feel that.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it the smart way, I went about it a really shitty way and hurt myself.
Right.
But it was a good reminder of what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that following week, I'm like, okay, I squatted 2 plates still, which was great.
Yeah.
Felt good, but I was very focused on how I was doing it. And so in my mind, like, I didn't get to do it this week. I decided to go golf instead, hit the driving range with a friend.
Yeah.
Instead of go to the gym, which was still a good workout. Somehow I hurt my calf. Don't explain that. But, it was a good reminder that every now and then it's okay to maybe not hit the gym, but still do some sort of activity.
Right.
It was good for both of us. We got to talk. We got to hang out. Got to see each other. Got to hit some golf balls. Like, it was a good time.
Yeah. That's so
But,
good.
Yeah, it's a reminder when you get hurt. Sometimes you need to slow down a little.
Yeah, for sure.
And to think about your process and why.
Well, I think that's an eye-opening, way to think through, is what lens are you looking through whatever action you're doing, right? Because it might not necessarily be the version that you want to show up with the specific scenario that you just went through. You caught yourself saying, hey, this version that I'm doing now, I don't want to be this version. I want to be the version that goes back and has the difficult conversation, has the accountability. So you chose in that moment where we talk about, these versions that are selves that come up that we're trying to consistently overcome. That's an overcoming moment. That's something that I'm sure subconsciously your brain is going to just you can always come back to that. Hey, that's when I was my version that I want to be. That's what I want to be. And you can use this situation.
Yeah. Cause like I said, when there was an issue that had come up, that was the first thing I thought of was, okay. And I thought back, I literally did. I thought back to that conversation. I'm like, okay, what can I do? Let me go do my research, make sure that what I did was correct, or what happened, and find out what happened, which then led me to, okay, maybe I need to adjust how the process, maybe we need to adjust how the process is, which he was already a step ahead of me thinking of it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what can we do to step the process up? And it's different things. Like, nobody told me this, nobody told me that, which is fine. But at the end of the day, like, I could have asked a question more like, hey, this is an issue here, here, and here. Can we do this? Is this an option?
Yeah.
And now that I know that okay, there is the option that would have made sense.
Yeah.
We can move forward now.
I mean, I know where this will turn into, which is as far as the lessons that you're gaining. But how do you feel? Because I see it. You moving into a leadership position. How do you feel like these types of situations helps your leadership in the future when you have a team or you have people that are following your leadership? How do you feel like this situation you can use this to build your team and build that confidence? Because this is like team shit. Like you need to have this to have a successful team. People that are like you that feel comfortable going up to you and be, hey man, like I fucked up. Because there's not always a safe place. I'll be honest.
There's not. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
There's not. But at the end of the day, I might be mad, but if I'm upset as a leader, like this is how I would like to, if I approach my leadership.
Yeah.
Like they can be mad. Once again, we talked about it. That's their emotion.
Yep.
But I need to understand that, okay, I fucked up, and that does make his job harder, her job harder, whatever, the leader's job harder, because now they've got to come up with a solution. But as somebody that, like if I were a leader, somebody came to me, yeah, I might be mad, but I need to be able to come back and say, look, I understand what you did. I appreciate you taking accountability. But also if they come to me, like anytime somebody comes up and is like, hey, I fucked up, like instantly my guard's down.
Yeah.
Like at least in my personal, like, hey, I messed up. Like,
Yeah.
And I mean, there's been times like in the marriage where she might come and say that, and it's just like, and it throws you off.
Oh yeah, dude.
And which is a good thing because it takes you from up here to like down here pretty quick, and you're just like, oh shit. And that's where I feel like as somebody that's lower going to a leader, or somebody that's a leader coming to, that you could learn like, hey, everybody has their emotions. You need to hold space for it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I think a leader should be able to come back and say, hey, look, I might not have acted the best or whatever. Like, hey, I appreciate you holding yourself accountable. Like, yeah, it sucks, but
Yeah.
we move on.
Right.
Did you learn a lesson? Just like I said, when he told me that, when the shop leader told me that, it's like, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I am trying to learn. We are trying to get better. And I want to be a part of something that grows, not something that slows.
Yeah.
Like that's
I love that.
big time where I want.
And I want to reiterate people that didn't hear that saying, "Hey, my bad. Hey, that's on me." That shit. When I tell you that shit de-escalates a situation, 99% of the time, I've come across it. Maybe I don't know. It's probably been a year now, and I use it in my relationship with Tay. When I know shit's up here and it's about to go bad, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't have acted that way. You know what, you're right. I shouldn't have
It
done
throws
that.
them off.
And they're like, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, cool. And we can move on because I know where this is going. We did it for 5 years. Like we're gonna yell, we're gonna get upset, we're gonna be up here. And I know I'm the one that's gonna be like, you know what, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
And just to add a little bit more, each person might need a little more time, right? Like sometimes, depending on the situation, that person might need a little more time to cool down. But you stepping up that way can de-escalate the situation a lot.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it in my relationship. I've seen it in my work relationships, my, friendship, whatever it is. I've seen it help de-escalate an issue rather than escalate the issue.
Yeah. And you're right. It definitely depends on the situation, the person. I mean, it might not be as like, if you cheated on your wife or something, you're like, hey, I know I fucked up, but you're still going to, it's still a difficult conversation, but I'm talking, situational, the person that you're dealing with, there's a ton of factors, but I would say 99% of the time, if you start off with that, just owning accountability, owning up to what you did, more than likely it won't go as far as it would have if you don't start with that phrase. And I can attest to that because I've used it. So,
I mean, same question to you as a leader, like, because you've been in a leader position more recently than I have. Mm-hmm. Have people come to you and been like, hey, that's my fault, I messed that up? And how do you react? I mean, you're not quite in the leadership right this second. I think
not this second.
I think it starts here really soon. Yeah, it starts here really soon, but
I mean, it's been a while, but yeah, I think when I had a ton of reports, there was I would say a handful of guys that were like that. They'd make a mistake and they'd be like, "Hey man, I messed up. That's on me. I'll take accountability." But I think, like I said, you have to breed that as a leader into the team.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a hothead, or if you're a person that doesn't know how to control their emotions, or isn't really
hard.
receptive to it, they will not. The last thing a person wants to do is own up to something, and then they get reamed or scolded, right? That's, especially as a man, no guy wants to be talked down to. And unfortunately, when you're in those high state of emotion, it just comes across sometimes that way. Now, and this is, I think we've talked about this, there's different people need to be led differently.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys need that. But you, as a leader, need to know, okay, I could talk to, Dustin, but hey, you get the shit together, da-da-da. He knows I love him. He knows that no matter what, we're good. Not everybody's that way. You have people on your team that you can't approach that way, and if you do, you'll lose that whole team.
I will preface this. Stern is different than yelling, though.
Stern is different. No, I'm talking about hothead. That's what I say, hothead. The guys that were it's an instant blow up, and you're like, what the, and they're like, almost like, what's the word? They're like freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a control, like, hey, you did this. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's you're getting talked to because you need to. I'm talking about when their emotions are uncontrollable and they're just like wigging out, throwing shit. I've seen it. I'm only talking from experience. I've seen it. Shop guys, they'll throw shit, and it's just like you're acting like a toddler, and then you expect me to treat you like
an
adult and a leader. I do not, and I've had those conversations. I've had guys that I've led that are that way, and we've had to sit down like, your team is looking at you like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you act like a child, they're going to treat you like a child, so they won't respect you. And if you want respect, you earn it by showing them respect, and that's not respect for them. And then it takes a while. It's not the one conversation I can call back to is like, he was like, well, it's not working. I'm like, you've been doing it for a month. You've been doing what you've been doing before this for years. So you can't expect your team to change because they see you change for a month. They need to see that you change for good. And so they're going to keep testing you on situations, no, not purposely, but there will be situations that will test you, and they're going to be seeing how you respond and waiting for you to go back to the person that you were. And the moment they stop seeing that, the respect level will come, and they'll actually treat you like a leader. Yeah, it took them months to do that, but that's the work that you have to do.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from that, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, once you lose a team, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard to come back from that, as on both sides. It's hard to gain the respect and to give the respect. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of work to get there, like a lot of work.
I would say gaining trust
is
harder and longer than it is to lose trust.
Oh, 100%.
Because you can lose trust in an instant.
100%. I can 100% attest to this on both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides. It is so hard to gain respect of somebody, but it is so fucking easy to lose it. So easy to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And, 100%. The way a person acts after that is a telltale sign of everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I've definitely dealt with it in the past. I've seen that. I've seen it happen, and it's a difficult balance, and you find ways to lead certain teams certain ways. Like I said, some leaders need a more direct approach. Some leaders need to be led to what they, it's different, and I think both of them are strong. Mm-hmm. The guys that talk to you direct are great. I think they're going to tell you what was going on. They're going to give it to you straight. Okay, let's fix it. Sometimes those types of conversations are the ones you need to hear. You don't need to be around about. But some guys, or some people, I'm going to say guys, but I mostly work with guys, so I can talk on that. But some guys want to be led there. They don't want to be told, hey, you're fucking up, but they want to be almost
guided.
You're guiding them, and they're kind of figuring, oh, okay, I see this. That sometimes is more receptive to most because they're like, they came up with the conclusion, even though you led them there. But when they formulate oh yeah, I fucked up. You're right.
But that's that to me is a pretty good leader that can ask questions to get you there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, just like Steph did.
Exactly.
Like, that's a leader that can ask you a question and get you to come up with your own answer. That's exactly what Steph did to me, and that's something that can work well with people, I think.
100%. Because nobody wants to be told that they're doing
Yeah.
well, most people don't want to be told directly that you're not doing something right.
I
Some
mean,
people need to. In certain situations, you need, hey, stop, don't,
Yeah.
If you're giving somebody CPR and you're seeing them do it wrong, you
Yeah.
better be damn direct and be like, hey, that ain't right.
Right?
But if there's a situation where, hey, we're, it's a learning process and it's okay to do certain things, like, yeah, like, I guess it's all on the urgency level, right? And, questioning is one of the greatest attributes, I think, from a leader, any person, I think, conversationally, is the way to ask questions. So many times we want to answer. We want to give our perspective, give our opinion. I challenge people to take a step back to just ask the question. And how you could use it in your everyday relationship. If your wife's, saying something like, well, why do you feel that? Why are you feeling this way? What am I doing that's making you? Before you get defensive, before you want to fix it, before you want to do these things, just ask the question. And especially in leadership, when you ask the questions, like you said, Steph did that with us when we were here. When you ask certain questions, they will. You don't need to tell somebody. A lot of times people know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. You'd made a mistake. If somebody would have came to you, hey, you made a mistake, you already know now. You're even more pissed off. But if somebody were like, hey, like, why did you do it this way? What was it about that? I don't know. When they lead you to it, you're like, you're right. That's where the you're right comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Where the accountability comes into play, because you're like, you're right. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were saying, but they weren't going to tell you until you came to the conclusion, because that's a lot stronger than somebody pointing out that you did it wrong.
Yep.
That'll resonate more, because you'll be like, oh, I came up with that. You're right. You're right. And then they're like, oh, and you saw it too? And now it's like collaboratively. You collaboratively came up with a solution, even though they had it the whole time. They just wanted you to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
They're sharing their vision, and you catch that vision, and you're able to, do what you need to do. So leadership is hard, man. It's one of those things, but I'm extremely proud of you for doing that, man, because it's a hard thing to do. But I know it'll pay dividends off when you have a team. It's going to be, you'll have that EQ to be able to handle those difficult conversations, but also when somebody comes to you and has that attitude of yours that you're like, hey, Dustin, I mean to own up to that. I guarantee you the first guy that comes to you says that, you'll be like, I'm going to invest my time in that guy.
And that's...
You'll be like, this is the guy. Whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to fucking help this guy succeed, because he fucking wants to learn. Now, if he's a dick and doesn't want to do anything, and you keep having these conversations, keep doing the same shit, it's different. But I guarantee you, when you hear that, you'd be like, that's why you hear people say, I see something in you, or I see me in you, because you'll see certain aspects like, oh, I remember when I was there. And the fact that he's thinking that way, I want to help him get to the next level.
Yeah. Well, that's growth, though. Like, and people that, in my opinion, again, people that want to grow can see other people that want to grow, and see people that don't want to grow, and how they act and react to criticism. It says a lot too.
Feedback.
Not
even criticism, just feedback. Yeah. People can't take they can't take feedback. That's the hard, because they take it that way. They're criticizing them.
Well, there's times that it sucks.
It hurts.
And you sit with it, but then you realize it. If you can actually think, because most everything from when I started to now, I'm like, crap, I can see it. I can see it. And then again, after that conversation, I mean, he used the liar, like the red pen, blue pen type kind of mentality,
Your boss?
right? Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And that second, it clicked with me more than anything.
That's hilarious.
Where he's like, sometimes I just want the red pen. You'll do everything right for the blue, but I just want the red. Yeah. And I'm like, God, that makes so much sense in my head. Because I'm like, there's times where I'm like, I thought I did, but now it's like, I get it. Your mind saw something different that you either want to try or that's going to work better that you could see that I might not have. And that's that blue pen. Like that, I don't know why that analogy like hit so hard with me.
Yeah.
But when he said it, I'm like, holy shit, like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I get it. And so now like everything that's come back, I'm like, I understand more. I get it. Like I went and did something. He's like, hey, we're trying to do this. I'm like, I love that idea. I will think of things like, let's set it up because it's going to make my job easier. Now I know my baseline. This is where everything starts. Anything beyond this, this is where the change is. And then he's like, we're going to get with the sales too. Perfect. I love it because now we have an understanding with each other of everything. Like, okay, now my job's easier because I know the standard guideline that this is where this all has to be. And beyond there, hey, we might have to make a change to this. This is why. Explain it to the customer. They can't understand. I don't know what to tell you. But
Right.
at that point, we can have another conversation. Like, this is the standard. We know this works. We know this is how it is. And that's where I come back to, like, I'm going to set an idea of a list. Like, okay, maybe it's a question I need to ask. Maybe it's a process I would like to talk about, maybe implementing or have a conversation about how we can do that process
Yeah.
differently so that we don't have the same results. But it all needs to be laid out. I need to have the questions. I need to have the guidelines of what I think might help or what's going to help, what I could think of. And again, have that conversation. If he says no, he's going to have an answer. I almost guarantee this is why I don't like that. Cool. And I guarantee that explanation is going to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Just based off of conversations we've had and my thought process and how I'm growing and all that.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, it's super, super good, man. I think a lot of times too, accountability and, like you said, the ability to be able to take the feedback in the moment is crucial to have those two, because you could take accountability and then they hit you back with something and you're all of a sudden, wait, I said it was my fault. Like that should give me the right to, we should be good to move forward, and you're still going to receive something back a little bit. And yeah, fixing processes it's a whole team effort. And I think one thing I found out over my career has been the more that you can ask the people that are doing the job, people that are in it, that have done it, and if you truly want to seek to understand, it all starts with just saying, hey, why do we do it this way? And what do you think we can do better? And how can we do it better? Because I guarantee you, and this is one of my biggest learning curves in leadership, was I thought I had to recreate the wheel. And I guarantee you half the motherfuckers that are doing the job already have the answer for you already. You just aren't having the conversation.
Well, they've
already figured a workaround around it.
And that was the conversation I had with the shop manager.
Yeah.
He's like, I understand, but I know, but like a building process wise, this is how we like to do it. Like he knows what he wants, but might be the easier way. And that makes sense. And now I can take those two and I can make them work together.
Exactly.
My vision, I can grab his vision. I can grab his vision. I can say, okay, this is a middle for everybody.
Yeah.
This helps you. This helps me. This helps him. I can understand all that.
Yeah.
And that's, again, just a simple conversation. Everything I'm talking about goes back to a simple conversation. I got another one. I'll just throw this out again. I got another one. I talked to one person about it. I listened to something about it. And then I'm like, okay, I can understand all of this. And then I went to that person. I said, what information do you need to do your job? So that I can make sure that when it comes to you, you have the information. And I even went a step further and I said, once I get this figured out, I think I'm going to come to you and ask, is there anything else I need to put on this that's going to help you? Maybe it's a little more for them. Maybe it's more for them. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure everybody's getting the information. I'd rather, and it's things I've been working on. Again, like I said, I've got lists, I've got Post-its, I've got this, I've got that, like things that I'm like, okay, this is going to help me move to the next step, the next step,
Right.
the next step. This way I don't forget this, or this. And I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah, it will be for sure.
And if not, guess what? I'm going to learn something, but it's going to get better every time.
Yep.
And I know that based off of my attitude, that it's going to get better. It's going to suck. There might be problems. There might be issues here or there, but how I receive it, how I put it back out, it's going to be the best that I can do.
Yeah. Best version that you can do right now.
Yeah.
And you'll look back in a couple of years or whatever, months, and be like, we just talked
Yeah.
about, like we started the episode off, going back to the episodes. Same thing with this. You look back and you're like, okay, hopefully you've grown enough to you can look at it and be like, we can make this better.
Yeah.
We can grow from this. I can grow from the conversation I had. I can grow from the processes that we've set up months ago or a year ago, whatever it might be. Now let's make it better. Let's elevate it. So
Attitude goes a long way. That's final notes that I'll say on that. Attitude goes a long way.
sure does, man. That'll make or break a lot of
Oh
things.
yeah, shitty
That'll
as
make a
hell.
lot.
It's gonna go shitty if you're. Again, feel your emotions, but at the end of the day, you got to realize whether you're right or wrong, and you got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So
And I think people, feel your emotions, be upset, be angry, be sad. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your attitude changes. You have a moment of emotion, and then you go back to, hey, okay, the attitude is how you're going to feel when you move past those emotions, and how you get out of those emotions. Because if you're going to stick around and be angry and sour and, all these different things, then that is where your negative attitude will come from. And if you can always have an attitude of gratitude, or attitude, that, you're just willing to grow, you'll continue to be better and strive to be the best version of yourself in that moment. So, yeah, man, that's all I got, dude. That was a good topic, dude. I liked it.
I kind of went, wait, that
No, I
had
loved
nothing to do with what you said you wanted to talk about.
But it worked out.
I don't know where it came from, but it worked.
I love it.
So.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for sharing that, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
You too, man.
See you guys.
Thank you.
The Round Table Podcast, where we talk to our personal growth, struggles and journey.